Hi, welcome to petsoforjesus.com. My name is Warna and we're here with another one-on-one interview. Today I've got with me Marco Spinelli. I said that right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. And Marco's joining us today to talk a little bit about his life. As you can see, Marco is quite young. And so let's just start with you. We talked a bit a few weeks ago,
That's right.
and you told me about like how you first sort of came into the church when you were really young, like a teenager, 17?
Yeah, I was around 16, 17.
Right, and then you kind of drifted away, right? So now I want to find out more about when you came back to the church. How did that happen exactly?
Well, actually, a bit before I came back to church, what happened was when I drifted away the first time, my life kind of led into a different direction. I got sort of tempted into the direction of partying, and from partying I started to smoke, and from cigarettes I moved up to marijuana, and then from marijuana I started to do other things. I headed into the after hours. After the clubs, going to the after hours, and then after hours had a whole different ball game, and it was a whole different stance.
Oh yeah.
So I had to meet up to that.
So when you say a whole different stance, this after hours thing, what does that mean exactly?
Well, because I guess the clubbing has this whole view of socializing, meeting people, I guess. Having certain events with friends. You got the drinking and the smoking, which are still in the socializing sort of aspect.
Right.
You can have a social drink, you can have an occasional cigarette with someone, but an after hours is a totally different thing. It's almost as if you're completely in your own world. You're cut off with a certain drug that you're taking. It just completely blocks you off, and it's as if it's just you and the music, and there's no other social relationship with anyone else.
So after hours has it's a drug culture is part of it.
That's right.
All right. So now you're in the after hours. You're partying very hard, and so then what happens after that?
I go to the extreme, and I grabbed a couple of friends, and we headed out to Europe, and obviously everyone knows about Ibiza, and we went there, which was the central party of everything, and went to a couple of after hours there, and after that I came back to Montreal, and I sort of felt almost like I had enough. I put my body through certain times where I honestly felt like maybe the next day I wasn't gonna wake up.
Okay.
And the thing about the drugs and after hours is that it brings you in such a high, and it's so temporary. And I still mean by temporary, it could last for hours, 8 to 12 hours. It doesn't matter how much you take, but when you come down off it, it's the worst feeling. And
So is this when you decided to go back to church?
not really.
Not yet.
So not yet. So man, I did a lot of that, but I guess when I came back from Europe, I had this strong feeling. I remember I was in this after hour, and I had told some friends, I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I'll come, I'll join you guys, and I really felt uncomfortable with the fact that I was going, and I'm like, I'm not gonna take any drugs this time.
Okay.
And I was just standing there, and I was watching my friends and the people around me, and I was just I was drawn back. It's as if I stepped out of the box, and I saw everything that was happening from a different angle, and it was very still uncomfortable, and I felt like I didn't want to be there. So I walked away, and I was away from the music. I still heard it, but from a distance, and I sat down, and I wrote myself sort of like a text message, sort of like a note to self, basically telling myself how I desire to change, and I wanted things to get back to normal. But meanwhile, during this time between the first time of church and the second time of church, I always had these sort of pokes every once in a while to be like, man, I gotta go back to church, and I gotta set my life back straight, and I gotta get back to praying to God. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't. It's as I was telling myself these things, and I guess it was just like everything else, like we procrastinate, we take things for granted, and that's what I was doing, and that was. Even though I sat there and I was thinking to myself that I needed to change, God didn't even come to my mind, but now that I'm sitting here and I look back at that time, God was the center point of it, and God was just like, God was telling me, you know what, just sit down for a while,
Yeah.
reflect over some things, and that's what I did. And from there, that's where things really started to change, and I was just fed up of clubbing, fed up that whole crowd scene, and
Well, the story you told me last time, there was a woman involved, maybe?
that's right.
Don't think you can sneak out of telling me about that part.
That's where it comes to. That's the end of the rainbow.
Yeah,
you know?
great. Where the pot of gold
Yeah.
is, right? Okay.
So, I mean, but actually, in this text message that I write to myself, I describe this kind of love that I want back, this desire to love, and I use certain words that just, even to this day, I read the text message and it draws me back, and I'm like, wow.
Let's talk a little bit about, I mean, you're a young guy. Can I tell
Yeah.
people how old you are?
Yeah, for sure.
It's 23, you can see.
I look good for my age.
He's young enough to be my son or something. You're a young guy, and in this day and age, I mean, there's so much craziness out there. You're talking about
Yeah.
after hours. I'm too old.
Yeah.
I don't even know what after hours is. But there's so many things out there for young people to engage themselves in,
Right.
things that might not be so healthy for them emotionally, spiritually, and all those other things. But there's an association with religion, Christianity, as being kind of boring.
Right,
It's like,
right.
now if I become a Christian, then I can't party anymore. I can't be with my friends.
Yeah.
What did that mean for you, that change? And did you lose friends? Did you gain, like, what was that like for
Well,
you, the transition?
That's, you know, like, first off, you know, there's so many decisions that we can make, and there's big decisions that not everybody's going to be okay with. But the important thing is that it's even those people that don't think that you're making that don't think that you're making a right decision. It's if you're doing a right decision for yourself and for the people around you. Because some people are not aware, like they'll think that, hey, you know what, like what's happening to our friendship, our relationship, but you believe that you going to church, gaining a relationship with God, it actually makes a relationship with your family better, with your friends. It changes your whole life together. And I mean, everyone has that typical view of a Christian. You know, that nerdy little kid with his Bible and
Exactly.
doesn't want to know anything about
Yeah,
the world, and
yeah.
he's just in his own little corner. One thing I can say about that is that if a Christian is doing that, they're going about it the wrong way. You know, I mean, Jesus, when he came, was such a sociable person, and he spoke to everyone about God, and he just wanted to take the time to get to know people and to spread I guess that word that God had from that message, and to cut yourself off from that. I mean, it's as if, I mean, what the Bible says is that you're a lamp and you're covering over the lamp.
Okay.
You know, you have something so precious, except that you're keeping it to yourself. Now, the important thing is that we contextualize, which means that we need to bring it out, you know, and yeah, that's the important thing. Is that obviously, you know, it's like it's as if when you buy a brand new car, right, and you're so happy. This is a brand new, like, sort of toy that you have. You want to show it to everyone, you know. You want to pass by your grandmother's house, your mother, like you get home and you're like, look what I bought. You go to your friend's house and you're like, look what I got, guys, and everything. And the thing is that someone can stand next to the car and be like, okay, but I don't know the way it drives. You can also be telling someone, you know, listen, I got this new car, it's amazing, it's got air conditioning, it's got sunroof, the leather interior. Now the person can choose not to believe me. They can be like I don't believe this is what you're talking about, you know. Or they can believe me, but still by believing they haven't experienced the drive. And that's what's happening with God, you know. And it's people should be so excited to tell other people about Jesus and about God, but there are going to be certain people that won't believe that there is a God, that there was Jesus. And for some of the people that do believe there's a God and a Jesus, there are people that haven't experienced that ride, that joy with God. And you got to open up your heart and just let him in. And it's from that time that everything just transforms, it changes. You know, if you're having a certain struggle in your life and you feel like something has to change, you know, it's worth a shot. It's worth that try to just open up your heart and see what he's got for you, what he has in stock for you.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you for joining us today, Marco.
My pleasure.
It's really nice to see you. I like to see, we like to get different kinds of people in the studio, young, older, all kinds of different people. And so it's really nice to get a fresh perspective of what the youth are talking about these days. And also youth hear youth, like if somebody comes on my dad's age and he's telling a story, I might not relate to it so much.
Yeah,
but it's easy to relate to somebody who's talking about things like after hours, That was just yesterday. It wasn't like a long time ago. So thank you very much for joining us.
My pleasure.
My name is Waruna Satwila. Thank you very much for joining us at soulforjesus.com. See you next time.